Remember the 3-eye Atlas comet? The brightest interstellar visitor in 150 years, a true cosmic spectacle. But have you ever stopped to wonder why the news barely touched it? That silence wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate choice. Today, we're diving deep into why this massive cosmic event was actively downplayed, what powerful people are still hiding, and why you need to know now. Because once Atlas vanishes back into the void, its secrets, and the massive implications they hold for our future, will be buried forever. It's time to question everything. The official story they fed you is that 3-eye Atlas is just a curious comet, a slightly unusual snowball from another star. But the raw data, the evidence they conveniently left out of their 2-minute news segments, tells a chillingly different story. These aren't just scientific quirks. They are massive, flashing red flags that should have triggered global alarm bells. The first piece of the puzzle is a detail that was almost entirely ignored in public discussions. Atlas was already blazing with activity when it was discovered at 6.4 astronomical units from the Sun. That's over 950 million kilometers away, far beyond the orbit of Jupiter. In the freezing, sun-starved depths of our solar system, a normal water ice comet is dormant, a dead, dark rock. For it to be awake and outgassing out, there is like finding a block of ice spontaneously boiling inside a freezer. It violates the fundamental rules. This wasn't just early activity. It was a clear, undeniable signal that this object was made of something else entirely. Something highly volatile, dangerously unpredictable, and profoundly alien. This fact alone should have been front-page news. The silence was the first sign of a cover-up. When the James Webb Space Telescope turned its powerful eye on Atlas, it sent back data that should have changed the world. The glowing cloud surrounding the object, its coma, was choked with carbon dioxide. The ratio was staggering, an incredible 8 parts CO2 to every 1 part water. Comets from our solar system are called dirty snowballs for a reason. They are overwhelmingly made of water ice. But Atlas is different. It's a dry ice bullet, a composition so foreign it's among the highest CO2 ratios ever recorded. This isn't just a different recipe. It's a chemical fingerprint, a return address from a star system with a chemistry completely unlike our own. It's proof that the building blocks of other solar systems are wildly different. A fact with profound implications that was conveniently buried on page 16, if it was mentioned at all. Perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence was visual, an anomaly so striking, it's puzzling why it didn't become a major topic of discussion. The Hubble Space Telescope captured it perfectly, a distinct glowing tail, 10 times longer than it was wide, pointing the wrong way. It had a tail aimed towards the Sun. The Sun emits a constant stream of particles called the solar wind, which always pushes comet tails away from it. Always. A sunward-pointing tail is a physical impossibility under normal rules. It's like holding a flag in a hurricane and watching it stream directly into the wind. The so-called experts scrambled to offer an explanation about large ice fragments temporarily overriding solar pressure. It was a desperate, flimsy attempt to fit an impossible observation into a safe, conventional box. But the image doesn't lie. It shows an object behaving in a way that defies our laws of physics, yet the media stayed silent. Why? Because if they reported on these facts honestly, they'd have to address the truly uncomfortable question: what in the universe behaves this way? This is where the story moves from scientific curiosity to a potential conspiracy of historic proportions. This is the one piece of evidence so explosive, so paradigm-shattering, it might just explain the entire media blackout. Inside the comet's glowing coma, spectrographs detected atomic nickel vapor, but its cosmic twin, the element iron, was almost completely missing. To understand how impossible this is, you need to know a basic cosmic fact. Nickel and iron are forged together in the hearts of dying stars and scattered across the universe in supernova explosions. They are created together. They travel together. and they exist together in asteroids, planets, and cosmic dust. Finding one without the other in a natural object is a chemical impossibility. It's like finding human bones with no calcium. This is the smoking gun. This is the discovery they do not want you to understand. Because there is one place where you find refined nickel without iron, in advanced industrial manufacturing. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, a brilliant mind the scientific establishment has repeatedly tried to sideline for daring to think outside the box, said what others were too afraid to. He suggested this chemical signature could be evidence of alien technology. He proposed that the object might not be a comet at all, but an engineered artifact, a probe from another civilization. Suddenly, all the other pieces fall into place. That bizarre, statistically impossible trajectory, the one that aligns with our solar system's ecliptic plane with a 1 in 500 probability, it starts to look less like a random cosmic coincidence and more like a deliberately targeted approach. The path it's taking, a grand tour with close flybys of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, starts to look less like a chance encounter and more like a pre-planned survey mission. Loeb even pointed out the most suspicious maneuver of all. Its closest approach to the Sun will happen while it is hidden from Earth's view, a perihelion concealment. Is it possible it's using the Sun as a shield to perform an action? To slow down, to change course, or perhaps to deploy smaller, mini-probes that we were never meant to see? Now the media silence makes perfect, terrifying sense. An object with a manufactured chemical signature on a statistically improbable, targeted path, performing a hidden maneuver behind the Sun, is not a story you can report without causing a global panic. It would shatter our economies, our religions, our entire sense of security. So instead, the powers that be chose to downplay it. They labeled it a quirky comet, fed you a sanitized story, and hoped you would be too distracted to look at the damning details. They wanted to bury this theory before it ever saw the light of day. While the world was kept in the dark, distracted by trivialities, a secret plan was put into motion. As Atlas prepared to make its closest approach, its trajectory would take it behind the Sun, hiding it from every single telescope on Earth. This observational blackout was the perfect smokescreen, a period of weeks where the object could do anything, and we would be completely blind, out of sight, out of mind. That was their plan, but they didn't count on this. A silent fleet of robotic spies, already in position, millions of miles away. In a hushed, last-ditch effort to gather untainted data, a small group of concerned scientists repurposed a network of spacecraft orbiting Mars. On October 3rd, 2025, as Atlas flew just 30 million kilometers from the Red Planet, this robotic fleet was given its clandestine mission. Watch what Earth is not allowed to see. This wasn't some publicly announced NASA campaign. This was a strategic, almost covert use of existing assets. Orbiters like Europe's Mars Express and its high-resolution stereo camera, and NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter with its powerful high-rise lens, were tasked with high-stakes imaging and spectral analysis. NASA's Curiosity and Perseverance rovers, humanity's lonely eyes on the Martian surface, were ordered to point their cameras to the alien sky, tracking this new visitor. This wasn't just a scientific project, it was a race against time and censorship, a desperate attempt to gather evidence before the object, and the truth it carries, disappeared forever. They are collecting the data that the public is not being told about, hoping to solve the mystery that the mainstream media refuses to even acknowledge. The clock is ticking, and it is almost out of time. Soon 3I Atlas will emerge from behind the Sun. We will have one last fleeting window to observe it before its incredible speed, a blistering 58 kilometers per second, flings it back into the interstellar void, where it will vanish, never to return. This is our final chance to wake up. The silence surrounding the brightest interstellar comet in 150 years was not an oversight. It was a calculated decision. You were deliberately shown a simplified, harmless story because the real anomalies, the impossible tail, the alien atmosphere, and the industrial nickel without iron signature, point towards a reality that is too disruptive, too paradigm-shattering for them to control. They are hoping it will just fade away. They are hoping it becomes another forgotten headline in the endless news cycle. They are counting on you to move on. The real question isn't what ATLAS is, but why they're terrified of you finding out. What else are they hiding? Help spread this video. Hit like to fight the algorithm and subscribe so you don't miss what's next.